What if I told you that one bird could recognize Picasso's art, solve math problems, and even read your face? No, it's not a superhero, it's a pigeon. These little guys are more than just bread scavengers. They've got brains. Pigeons can actually recognize themselves in a mirror, which is a huge deal in the animal world. Only a handful of animals, like dolphins and elephants, have this ability. So the next time you see a pigeon, remember, it's not just pecking at crumbs, it's a self-aware genius in disguise. Pigeons, on the other hand, you can teach them stuff like basic math or how to recognize letters. So if you want a bird that listens, pigeons are your go-to. Researchers first discovered pigeons' impressive cognitive abilities back in the 20th century. They started running experiments that showed pigeons could distinguish between different shapes, colors, and even basic concepts like same and different. It was a game changer for bird lovers and scientists alike. Some pigeons have been known to fly up to 600 miles in a single trip and still find their way back home. No map, no problem. How do they do it? They rely on environmental cues like the sun, the Earth's magnetic field, and even the wind patterns to chart their course. If you're lost, just ask a pigeon to guide you back. Pigeons can race hundreds of miles, and some have been known to reach speeds of up to 90 miles per hour. One of the most fascinating things about pigeons is their commitment to their partners. Pigeons are monogamous, which means they mate for life. They build nests, raise chicks, and protect each other like they're in a relationship drama. Sweet, right? Pigeons can even learn to recognize letters and numbers. Some pigeons have been trained to identify the English alphabet and even basic arithmetic. They can pick out the letter A from a bunch of options like it's nothing, and when it comes to numbers, they can count from 0 to 9. That's right. These feathered geniuses have mad skills. They carefully select twigs, leaves, and other materials to create a cozy home. They even defend their nests like they're Fort Knox. When a pigeon has eggs in its nest, watch out. Pigeons are fiercely protective of their babies. If you get too close to their nest, don't be surprised if a pigeon swoops down to attack you. They'll flap their wings and use their sharp beaks to chase off any potential threats. A mother's love knows no bounds, even in the bird world. Pigeons can be taught to do all sorts of things like picking up trash, playing basketball, or even recognizing certain shapes or colors. While crows can be a bit more independent, pigeons are like the eager-to-please pets of the bird world. So if you want a bird that's willing to learn, pigeons are the way to go. Pigeons have also made a name for themselves in magic tricks and stage shows. They're often used in illusions where they appear out of nowhere or seem to vanish into thin air. With their ability to fly and their calm demeanor, pigeons make the perfect assistants in a magician's act. These little guys are truly the unsung heroes of the stage. Interestingly, pigeons have a behavior similar to dogs. If they perform a task well, they get rewarded with food. It's like a feathered version of good boy. Let's face it, pigeons aren't everyone's favorite bird. Some people see them as dirty or annoying, just flying rats. In the past, there were even rumors that pigeons carried diseases. But the truth is, most of these fears are overblown. Pigeons are generally harmless creatures that just happen to be everywhere. They get a bad rap, but hey, they're just trying to survive. On the flip side, pigeons have a huge fan base. Some people adore these birds for their loyalty, intelligence, and their quiet, humble nature. Pigeon enthusiasts will even spend hours watching them and raising them as pets. There's something oddly charming about these little creatures, and once you understand their smarts, it's easy to see why they have such a devoted following. Did you know that pigeons were likely the first birds to be domesticated by humans? That's right. They've been living alongside humans for thousands of years. And believe it or not, some pigeons have been selectively bred by humans for specific traits. Ever heard of a freelback pigeon? It's a hybrid bird bred for speed and endurance. These pigeons are the Ferrari of the bird world. There are over 300 different species of pigeons worldwide. Some are raised for meat, while others are bred for racing. Speaking of racing pigeons, did you know some of them can fetch crazy prices? The most expensive pigeon ever sold was a racing pigeon named New Kim, who went for a whopping $1.9 million in China. Talk about a high-flying investment. New Kim isn't just any pigeon. This bird set a record in a long-distance race, beating out thousands of other competitors. The pigeon's father was a racing champion in Belgium, and now New Kim's offspring are selling for astronomical prices. It's a whole pigeon millionaire industry out there. Pigeons typically live for about 3 to 5 years in the wild, but when they're kept in captivity and cared for properly, they can live much longer, sometimes up to 15 years. There are even some exceptional pigeons that have lived over 20 years. One famous pigeon named Mourning Dove lived an incredible 29 years, which is practically a birdie record. So even though pigeons seem like a common part of urban life, they have the potential to live much longer than you might think. Pigeons are known for their incredible memory. Some can even recognize up to 1,000 different images. They can also distinguish between paintings by Picasso and Monet. If that's not a bird with taste, I don't know what is. And did you know pigeons can even tell the difference between human faces? That's a pretty impressive skill for a bird. Speaking of pigeons recognizing things, these birds have the amazing ability to identify human faces. Studies have shown that pigeons can remember and recognize individual people. They can tell the difference between one face and another, which is pretty remarkable for a bird that spends most of its time pecking at breadcrumbs. So next time you walk by a pigeon, know that it's keeping tabs on you, just in case you need to win over that bird with a smile. Before we continue, please like this video because our channel is still growing, and your likes are a huge support for us. Pigeons aren't just known for their intelligence. They've also played a symbolic role in many religions and cultures. In Christianity, the dove, a type of pigeon, symbolizes peace, the Holy Spirit, and purity. In ancient Egypt, pigeons were revered and depicted in artwork, while in ancient Greece, pigeons were considered sacred animals. They've been a symbol of love, freedom, and fertility across the world. So pigeons have always had a bigger role to play than just being the birds in the park. If you've ever seen pigeons with tiny rings on their legs, you might have wondered what that's all about. Well, these little rings are often used to track pigeons for breeding or racing purposes. They help pigeon racers identify their birds, and sometimes these rings even contain valuable information about the bird's history or origin. Think of them as little ID tags that make pigeons even more interesting. It's like the bird version of wearing a designer watch. Pigeons were more than just city dwellers or pets. During both World War I and World War II, pigeons were used as military messengers. One famous pigeon named Cher Ami saved an entire battalion during WW by delivering a crucial message despite being severely injured. These pigeons were like feathered superheroes, risking their lives to save human lives. Talk about bravery with wings. Ever notice how pigeons bob their heads up and down while walking? It might look a little funny, but there's actually a very smart reason for it. This head bobbing helps pigeons stabilize their vision while they move. When they walk, they freeze their heads to focus on the ground, then quickly move their heads forward to focus on what's ahead. It's their unique way of keeping balance and watching for danger at the same time. It's like having a built-in motion-sensing camera for a head. Pigeons are often associated with the typical gray-feathered look, but some pigeons come in absolutely stunning rare colors. There are pigeons with iridescent feathers, bright blues, and even unique patterns that make them look like flying jewels. These rare pigeons can be highly sought after, especially in the world of pigeon breeding and competitions. Imagine seeing a pigeon that looks like a rainbow. These beautiful birds are proof that pigeons aren't just plain old city birds. They can be absolutely spectacular. It turns out that pigeons have an incredible sense of hearing that allows them to detect low-frequency sounds, like the rumble of an earthquake or a distant storm. They can hear sounds that humans can't, which helps them detect danger or changes in weather. This amazing sense of hearing makes them not just street smart, but also very attuned to their surroundings. It's like they have a built-in weather radar, and they're always tuned in to the world around them. Pigeons may not speak like humans, but they have a pretty sophisticated way of communicating. They use body language to show how they're feeling. For example, if a pigeon puffs out its chest, it's usually trying to show dominance or impress a mate. If it bows its head, it's showing submission. And when pigeons flap their wings, they're either warning other pigeons of danger or trying to establish their territory. So pigeons are constantly sending signals through their body language. It's just up to us to interpret what they mean. You've probably noticed pigeons puffing out their chests and doing little dances when they're looking for a mate. This is part of their courtship ritual. Male pigeons often perform a little dance where they bow and puff up their chest to impress females. Pigeons are truly extraordinary creatures hiding in plain sight. From their sharp minds to their fascinating behaviors, they truly deserve a second look. And if you're curious to learn about the smartest bird, don't miss our video about crows, the bird that outsmarts them all. Until the next video, stay curious and full of energy.